So this is an introduction on how to access your Google Drive and explaining what's changed from Google Docs to this new thing called Google Drive. So we all come into this kind of page to sign in. So we're signing in with our school account, and this takes us into this kind of space here. And you might first get a little warning saying we're now migrating to Google Drive, and you can click and accept that. And when that happens, when you accept the new view, you get this kind of look. And so you get this thing on the side saying My Drive, and this thing called Shared With Me. My Drive is all the documents that you have created, folders that you might have created, and you can notice it's got little icons, and little icons explain what type of format things are. So the blue one is a document, and some of the green ones are forms or spreadsheets, all the Google types of formats. And you have different types of folders as well. And it does show you over the side the date that things were last modified. So if you're searching for information, the easiest way to do it within your My Drive is to either, at the moment, because this is in red, it means that it's ordered according to the title. If I click on Owner or Last Modified, it will just switch the order, which is quite nice. And these are the things which have been last been updated in My Drive, and helps you trying to find things a bit more easily. One of the most powerful things is this thing called a search function at the top. And if you click on the arrow, you can kind of filter and help search for things. So if you wanted to search for a document they might have created, sometimes it takes a while to kind of go through and find things. This brings up a folder of my things I'm looking for. I can also search by clicking on this arrow, and if I want to look for certain things, I'm looking for a spreadsheet, it will filter just spreadsheets that I have access to. So these are kind of ways that you can search and find and filter things at the top. So the key difference as well between the previous Google Docs and this thing called My Drive is how you see things that you don't own. So things that you've been shared. Could be folders from different heads of departments, are now located under this thing called Shared With Me. So you can see here, these are who are sharing documents with me, and these are the titles. So I can search things by titles or by shared dates. And here I can just search as well. I can search in here, it will bring up, I can search by people, and it will bring up documents that's been shared by that person, and that kind of idea. These other little buttons are quite useful. So if there's something you look at all the time, you can always click on this little one here and give it a star, and that's what's called starring them, and it puts them in this thing called this third option, which are documents that you look at quite often. So that's an awful, and if you're finished looking at them, you can unstar them, and they just go back into your normal list of documents. Recent, quite useful. This shows things have been updated, both things that you own and things that other people own. And it also puts things in bold which have changed but you haven't looked at. And finally, this thing called All Items is really useful. This is pretty much anything that you've ever been shared upon, and both things that you've created and things that other people have. And lastly, there's also a thing called a bin. So when you delete things in your Google Drive, they do go into this big long list, and it does take up part of your online capacity. So within your drive, you have about 5 gigabytes of space. So you can empty some of these documents that I have deleted before. There's a few other options over this side. On the right hand side, you can change these to grids, so you can search things different ways, and lists, and the way that it's the spacing between documents. So that's pretty much a quick overview of what's called Google Drive, accessible from the little button at the top next to your mail, and it comes up like this.